Okay, picture this. You're lying in bed feeling perfectly fine, right? You reach for your phone, open Instagram, and just start scrolling. You see a friend's epic beach vacation, a colleague's huge promotion, maybe an influencer's absolutely flawless morning routine. Just 30 seconds pass, you lock your screen, but suddenly this inexplicable, heavy emptiness just washes over you. You weren't unhappy literally a minute ago, yet now you feel like you're missing out, falling behind, or somehow just lacking. Why does a mere 30-second glimpse into other people's lives have the power to completely drain our own joy? Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer for the Dharma lens. I am so incredibly excited to guide you through today's topic. We're going to decode a very modern problem, digital burnout, and that weird social media misery we all feel, using a brilliant 2,500-year-old diagnosis. That's right, long before smartphones were even a thought, the Buddha perfectly understood the exact psychological trap that algorithms use to keep us hooked and unhappy today. Okay, let's dive into this. We have a clear roadmap for our journey today. We'll start with the 30-second social trap and why our brains are wired to compare. Then we'll uncover the ancient insight into the illusion of the self, figure out why relying on willpower never, ever works, and finally, arm you with 3 daily practices to escape the trap entirely. Starting right off with sections 1 and 2, the diagnosis. Look at this brutal, honestly, kind of unfair contrast we subject ourselves to every single day. On the left, social media serves us a 1-second, perfectly filtered highlight reel. It's the peak moment, right? The perfect lighting, the carefully selected angle, the curated smile. What we don't see is the anxiety, the debt, or the argument that happened literally 5 minutes before the photo was snapped. But on the right is our reality. Messy, unedited, 24/7 behind-the-scenes life. We're taking our complete, complicated human experience and weighing it against a fabricated fraction of a second. Of course we feel empty. We're tricking ourselves into believing that a tiny fragment equals the whole picture. So the source material refers to this as the comparing mind. And it's not just about admiring a nice photo. It's an endless psychological loop. When we see someone else's success, a gorgeous home, an amazing relationship, our mind instantly translates their having into our lacking. And honestly, here's the worst part of the whole shebang. Even if you happen to win the comparison game today, you just inherit the exhausting fear of losing your spot tomorrow. It's just a relentless wheel of constant anxiety. Moving on to section 3, the illusion of the self. Now, taking a name it to tame it approach, let's look at a fundamental concept in the Buddhist tradition called Anatta. It's a Pali word and it basically means no self. It's this profound realization that there is no fixed, permanent I hiding inside us. The I that feels inferior when looking at an influencer, or the I that feels super superior when racking up likes, it's an illusion. It's just a temporary construct patched together by passing feelings and external validation. When we constantly compare, we're just exhausting ourselves, trying to defend a self that isn't even solid to begin with. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly explains the root of our suffering. Enter the Sanskrit term Atma-graha, which translates to self-grasping. This is the incredibly painful habit of fiercely clinging to that fabricated identity we just talked about. And let's be real, social media algorithms are basically a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure designed specifically to exploit Atma-graha. They poke right at our insecurities, constantly whispering, "Are you good enough? Are you being seen?" The more we grasp at our digital identity, the tighter those chains of suffering become. And this brilliantly illustrates the Buddhist alternative to all that exhausting grasping. Think of a mirror. When a mirror reflects a beautiful flower, it doesn't suddenly think, "Wow, I am magnificent." And when it reflects mud, it doesn't go, "Ugh, I'm dirty and totally worthless." It simply reflects what is there. A healthy, awakened mind observes the digital world exactly like this mirror. You can see someone else's success or beauty without letting it dictate your own personal worth for even a second. Just remember this: you are the sky. Those feelings of envy, jealousy, and fear that pop up when you're mindlessly scrolling, they're just passing clouds. When a dark cloud rolls in, the sky doesn't get stained by it, and when the cloud finally leaves, the sky hasn't lost anything at all. Your true, inherent nature is vast, complete, and completely untouched by the comparing mind. All right, section 4, awareness beats willpower every time. You know, relying on suppression and willpower is pretty much always a losing battle. Notice how deleting apps in a frustrated rage, white-knuckling your way through a digital detox, and feeling intense guilt over your screen time really just creates way more internal conflict. You end up judging your own envy, which just adds a whole second layer of suffering. But the Buddhist approach? It's awareness. It's gentle. It's simply noticing the trigger, naming the emotion without any judgment whatsoever, and letting the feeling pass. It's not about fighting your own mind, it's about illuminating it. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, 3 daily escape practices. I am so excited to share these with you. Based on our source material, we've synthesized 3 super actionable steps you can use right now, today, to break free from the comparison trap. Step 1 is pausing and naming the trigger. Step 2 is the practice of mudita. And step 3 is returning to the physical present. Let's break them down. Practice 1, pause and name. The very moment you feel that familiar tightening in your chest while scrolling, just stop. Now don't throw the phone across the room, but definitely don't keep scrolling either. Just observe the feeling. Ask yourself bravely, which eye is hurting right now? Is it the ego that desperately wants to win? Or is it the vulnerable part of you that's terrified of being unseen and unloved? By simply naming the insecurity out loud, you literally strip the algorithm of its hidden power over you. Practice 2 is mudita. This is a gorgeous Pali word that translates to sympathetic joy. It's the active, totally intentional practice of finding sincere joy in the good fortune of others. So when you see a friend post a major victory and your ego starts whispering, well, what about me? Consciously pivot. Send them genuine, silent congratulations. Intentionally celebrating someone else's success actively dismantles your own painful envy. It expands your heart from a state of scarcity to a state of complete abundance. And practice 3 is absolutely crucial. Return to the physical present. Put the device down. Physically set it aside. Pull your awareness all the way back from the digital void and root it firmly into tangible, real-world sensations. If you're eating, just eat. If you're walking, actually feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice your breath. As our source texts remind us, so much of our emptiness comes from the fact that our physical bodies are sitting right here in the present, but our minds are living inside someone else's curated digital moment. Come back to where you actually are. And that brings us to Section 6, the memorable insight. True wealth isn't a flawless feat. It's a mind that isn't impoverished when left alone. The next time you feel that urge to compare your beautifully messy reality to someone else's highly edited highlight reel, remember that your worth is not up for debate. It's not a metric to be ranked or measured by a screen. You are the mirror. You are the sky. So the next time you unlock your phone, ask yourself, will you let the algorithm define your worth, or will you choose simply to reflect? Thank you so much for joining me on the Dharma Lens. Keep cultivating that awareness, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.